earnings season is kicking off with the banks as usual. Now, I'm at the Kiplinger website, which I like for the beginning and the end of earnings season that kind of are a little slower and don't have as many stocks reporting, so that I can look at ideas to investigate myself and share with you regarding stocks that might move around their earnings reports. So if you go to the website and you scroll down, you will see the current week. That's usually what it populates to. And today is Tuesday, January 13th, but obviously stocks are reported in the morning and some are coming up in a couple hours. So I'm always going to do these earnings reports at least one day out. So I'm going to click for Wednesday, January 14th, and now I have a nice, neat little list. So we have some S&P 500 stocks in here. We have Bank of America, we've got Citigroup, we've got Wells Fargo, and we've got United Commodity Banks, HB Fuller, Home Bank shares. I'll look at all of these right now. Now, I'm going to do this over on my TradeStation screens because that's what I've been using for many years, and I'm still the most fast and nimble on it. So here's Bank of America, ticker BAC. Now, this is a weekly chart. I look at a weekly chart first when it's a stock or a chart that I don't look at all the time. So it gives me perspective, right? Bigger picture trend perspective. So like many other stocks, it has been higher off of the April 2025 tariff announcement week low, but it's also pulling back currently off of the week ending January 9th. Now, the most important support out of the gate is here, which is the most recent higher price low. So I have three basic ways I look at price: bar, price, swing. Okay, and I detail those in my trainings, but this is a very important long-term support. The most recent short-term or long-term resistance is last week's high. So I'm just going to plop those on and go to a daily chart. Now looking at Bank of America, and again, they're reporting tomorrow, okay? And they're reporting before the open. So that's what I like about the Kiplinger site, is it shows you whether it's before the open or after. So the end of today's action will then have the earnings and then tomorrow's session. If we dial in more closely, the upcoming support in price is here on December 18th, and the most recent resistance is here at January 12th, okay? So if I were looking to see if there might be an opportunity to go long or short this stock, the first thing I need to know is like, where are the areas of supply and demand? That's all support and resistance are, okay? So now from here, you can go in with your methods, whether it's direct stocks trading, options, complicated, more advanced option strategies, and be like, all right, well, here's some levels that HEMA thinks are important. Let me do my own analysis on top of that. And now I'm going to just share what I think is going to happen. It's just education, okay? I don't have a crystal ball, but based off of the way this stock is moving currently, I think big picture it's up, but I think it has room to run a bit lower. And there's actually a forecast for shares of Bank of America to trade down towards 53.56 by tomorrow. Now, here's the fascinating thing. That was based on my forecasting techniques that I teach in loss forecasting. It was not based on the fact that tomorrow is the earnings date. So I think that's pretty cool when actual important fundamental dates line up with the results of technical methods. So that makes tomorrow a very important day. I think we weaken a little bit. I think this 54 area is a bit of a magnet, but then there's room for price to stabilize. All right, let's go on to Citigroup next. All right, so Citi is in a similar spot. It has been rushing up higher, but now been a bit of correction. It has a stronger up move though. Look at its daily chart. This is awesome. Now, it's dancing around these supports from the end of last month. Has it broken? Well, when it comes to support and resistance, the only way to know is to draw the thing and use your cursor and your eyeballs to see. So instead of guessing and trying to wonder, just go in, zoom in if you have to, okay? And then look at the line and be like, did it break below? If you can't tell visually, use your cursor. The low on December 31st was the lowest of the lows in that series, and yesterday's low, or today's low rather, is breaking below that. So what I do is, because I don't know if today will close below that or not, I make it a dashed line. That way it's still visually there for me, but I know it was technically violated intraday, okay? Now, if we keep falling below this low, the next support is down here, the December 16th low. And I think that that's probably an area that could coincide with the RSI power zones, my favorite momentum indicator, attempting to stabilize and build support. So these are 4 zones on the traditional RSI that allow you to better trade in trend conditions, and I love them. All right, So that's my take on Citi right now, most likely continuing short-term lower. However, we always have to be prepared for the alternate scenario. So if it actually comes back and closes this gap down from January 8th, then further upside likely. All right, let's take a look at UCB. All right, so this is a stock that is on the daily chart first. So I'm just giving you this perspective. If you start in a lower time frame, it's not a matter of right or wrong. It's just that you won't have perspective, right? Is this all-time highs? Is this just consolidation? That's why I like to go to the weekly. And now when I look at the weekly, oh, it's not all-time highs. It's actual consolidation beneath the December 2024 high. You see that? You wouldn't have that perspective if you didn't go to the higher time frame chart. Now we can bring it back down and see, okay, it is back up towards the most recent resistance on the daily chart, the September 5th, 2025 range, attempting to correct. This looks like it might have a little bit of weakness, but nothing major. So the trend is unclear in the big picture. Short term, it's up. We have this low, we have this low, we have this low, see? So I would rather look to potentially buy in a pullback so long as the price action stays above the low from January 2nd. All right, awesome. Let's look at Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo, same story, up and to the right, pulling back after last week. Now this guy's interesting because it hasn't actually broken a low. It's consolidating. So consolidation means moving between two distinct price levels. It doesn't matter what the tilt or shape is. It could be flat and sideways like it is here, or it could have a tilt up or a tilt down, okay? But it's always super helpful to define those boundaries. In fact, if you were going to be looking to set up a trade on this stock, I would not only draw these lines, I would put an audible alert on them. Okay, not a trade, just an alert so that you know when price touches this low from January 2nd or this high from January 5th. All right, you put the price or you put the alert for the price, not the date of action. So your alert here would be 92.81 and 97.76. That way you don't have to stare at the chart. You can just see, hey, when are we going to be breaking out of this range, and then see if there's something to discern from there. All right, now let's look at two stocks who are reporting after the close on Wednesday. Okay, ticker FUL, HB Fuller. Long-term recovery in motion off of April 2025. A big low for a lot of markets. It has not retraced half of the losses, though, even from August of 2024. It's getting close though. So 67.62 is a very important long-term resistance to watch. And look at how the RSI power zones are back in the bear resistance zone. What this tells me is in the very short term, sure, there might be upside, but there are some big picture forces that may assert like supply and push the market lower. Now, I want to look in the daily chart. I'll still carry over that resistance from the weekly. And here I can see there's room for the RSI power zones to move up into the bull resistance power zone. So it's not a guarantee, okay? It's not like markets dance around between the green and the red, but it definitely is a tendency that can be helpful. So if I were looking for a stock here or trade here, I would wait for it to top out a bit and then maybe buy in a pullback. I would not just stick my hand out and go short just because we're near long-term resistance. That's not a safe bet. All right, last but not least, let's look at home bank shares. All right, HOMB. This guy's in a big old consolidation. So sometimes consolidation is a few days. Sometimes it's a massive amount of time. We're basically between the November 2024 high and the June 2024 low. The market has not exited since establishing that. And it's just narrowed in between, right? Lower high, higher low. Lower high, higher low. This is where you could start to draw trend lines and do other things to see where it might break out. Right now, though, this is just a no-go for me on a weekly chart. It's just too much consolidation. On a daily chart as well, it's kind of just dancing around the middle of the retracement of the decline from September. I don't think it's very actionable. Whatever it does on earnings, we'll see if it's gives it a pop, but I don't think it's really worth seeking out an opportunity right now. All right, awesome. Well, that's my take on stocks that are reporting on January 14th. And if you like these videos I've been doing, even if it's just this one today, please come to my new show, Ticker Request Live, where I will do this with the stocks and the markets that you bring me. It doesn't have to be just stocks. It can be anything that I can plot on TradeStation, which is US equities, commodities, futures, broad market indexes. And just like I analyze these, I'll do it for you. It is free. It's every Tuesday starting today. So I look forward to seeing you there. You can check the links below for how to attend. It is a new show. So right now we're starting off in Zoom, but we're hoping to get streaming and make it super accessible to attend. Now, if you found value in this video, if you're looking forward to ticket requests live or anything in between, go ahead and hit that like button, and I'll see you in the next video and in my show.